Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make 2 batches of soap using beer in your soap. And one of the reasons that I want to use beer in my soap, even though I don't drink myself, is that hops is a great ingredient to incorporate into skincare products because it has a lot of softening amino acids, which can help soothe any irritated or inflamed skin. It also has a lot of antibacterial properties, and it's good for combating acne. So if you have acne-prone skin, this is good for you as well, and it also helps hold moisture on your skin. So the first step, what we're going to do is just dump all of your beer into either your double boiler or whatever you have, and let that cook for about 20 minutes once it's boiling. Another thing you can do if you don't want to do that step is just let your beer go flat overnight. So for each of these, I'm going to be using the fragrance, 2 different fragrance oils for each one. They're ones that I got from Brambleberry. Just when I smell the fragrance oils, it seemed to kind of match the fragrance of the beer itself. The one I'm using for the Corona is a little bit fruitier, and the sandalwood for the Dos Equis is a little bit more masculine. Okay, so for this next step, we're actually going to take it to the scale and we're going to weigh out the alcohol that we have left. And the reason why we're doing this is because, one, the bottles that I have were a little under what we needed for the recipe, so I knew that we were going to have to add a little bit more, either alcohol or we were going to have to add some water. So you can do whichever one that you feel fit for you. If you want to use about 2 bottles, you'll have enough alcohol. If you don't want to waste the extra alcohol, you can just add some water to the mixture here, because you're going to need about 12.16 ounces of the water part of the Lye Water solution. So you need to make sure that your liquid part of the Lye Water solution is measuring at about 12.16 ounces. Now, since I was doing this twice, I had 2 different water solutions, and the one that just came off the stove top was a little bit hotter. The other one I let cool down, and I just kind of took the temp after I added the water. So I just wanted to show you guys the difference. You do not want to soap or add lye when your beer or the water content is still hot. So you do need to make sure that either comes down to room temperature, or you can freeze your beer and make it into ice cubes. I did not have time to do that today, so I just went ahead and waited for the beer to come down to room temperature. Because once you start adding the lye crystals, it is going to heat up quite a bit, and you don't want to scorch the beer. So that is important, and you'll kind of know, like, it'll get really hot, the vapors will smell really strong, you'll get a lot of odor. I try to keep mine under 140 degrees if possible. I don't know that I did that for this video. I think we got a little bit higher, but that is okay. And you can use lye beads or lye crystals. I like the little crystals a little bit better. I just thought I would show you a nice close-up shot if you guys want to see that. But I was also going to add that when you are making soap, it is best practice to not use glass, especially in a recipe like this, because when you're doing glass and you're adding the lye to it, like, the heat temperatures can vary quite a bit, and you can have the glass explode and crack on you. So I did want to let you guys know that you are taking a risk when you do your soap that way. These are the colors that I've kind of put out for the Dos Equis soap batch that I'm using. All of my micas are from Nurture Soap. I thought I could start out with a little amount and it would be enough, but it wasn't. When I started adding colors, you'll see in the video, I was like, I need a lot more. So you can use whatever colors you like. I just like using their micas because they come in like smaller containers, and I am kind of a hobby soaper, so I don't need like large containers. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just honestly really love their products. So I just went ahead and got these all prepared in little containers while I was waiting for the lye water to kind of stay like a cool temperature, and while I was prepping the other oils. When I measure out these little micas, I put them in their own little containers, and then I add a little bit of a carrying oil, or sometimes I just take the oil that we're using from the recipe. It just kind of depends. We're using such a minute amount of oil, so it shouldn't really throw the recipe off too much, but if you are a new soap maker, I would recommend using the oils from the actual recipe that you have. Just take a little spoonful or so before you go ahead and mix everything. So now I'm getting ready to mix the oils with the lye water / beer solution. I am noticing that the temperatures are quite off a little bit, and that's just because we boiled the beer and then we added the lye, and like usually I do ice cubes and it's a little bit easier. So what I end up doing sometimes if this happens, you don't want to really add the lye and the oils together when there's a huge temperature difference like this. But sometimes I kind of just slowly add them together and then I just let them sit in the same container before I even mix them. I would say probably about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I come back and then I might just mix it with the spoon or the stick blender, but not turn the stick blender on, so that they're all kind of coming to the same temperature. And the reason I'm doing that is, one, so we can control how fast this comes to trace a little bit better, and so we don't have any like seizing happening. I also use a little bit of sodium lactate in these recipes because I'm finding out that with the silicone molds, I actually like using sodium lactate a little bit more because it helps the soap come out of the mold a little bit better the next day. Sodium lactate is something that I haven't really even used in any of my cold process soaps until about a year ago. And you just want to use whatever the manufacturer usage rate is or whatever you like for your specific recipe. As I just put in a tiny minute, I don't even go to the max usage rate on sodium lactate. I never used to use it before because I just thought it was unnecessary, but I also had like a handmade mold that I would line with parchment paper, and I found when I went to the silicone molds, it was just working a little bit better. So again, I'm adding this fragrance oil. The fragrance oil I used for the Corona, which I believe was called Bali something, I'll put the title in there. But that one actually performed really well. I didn't have any acceleration or ricing or anything like that. And the soap came to trace lovely, no issues. I was able to keep the batter really fluid when I was adding the colors and whatnot. So I want to say that is a very good fragrance oil. It also smells really delicious in the soap itself. It is a little bit floral though, so I don't know if it's something that men would like. But it's not like overly powerful with the floral fragrance. And for the design on this soap, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, but I was just wanting to go for a white, blue, and yellow kind of theme. I completely forgot to see if this soap batter discolors at all. I don't think it has. I haven't pulled it out of the mold long enough to know if it's going to cause any like discoloration long term. But I'll leave a little note on there too if it does start to discolor. So as I was putting this in the mold, I thought the blue looked really lovely, and I thought one thing to elevate it a little bit more was to add a little bit of gold mica to the top. So I took a little bit of jojoba oil and gold mica and I put it on top of the soap. I don't know how you guys have used this, if it's worked for you, but a lot of people have been saying like if you use jojoba oil, the way it like forms with the mica, it will kind of leave that little indent impression on the soap itself. I'm waiting for it to cure to kind of see what I think about it, but I do think it kind of helps with the overall design, and I like the effect it was giving. I don't know if I need to maybe add a little bit more oil to get the desired, like, really indented and dropped look that I'm talking about. I know some of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. Leave a comment below, though, if you've done it before, and let me know what the secret is. Alright, I have taken these out of their soap mold and they've been sitting for probably about 48 hours. This one got a little bit of a crack done of it because it did overheat, and you can see the green one, the Dos Equis, did go through gel phase because you can kind of see that on the bottom of the loaf where the soap looked a little bit darker. I'll show you a better shot of that in a minute here, but this is how the Corona one came out. This one did not go through gel phase. I'm not really sure why, or at least it didn't look like it to me. You do, however, notice some glycerin rivers in this recipe, so if you want to modify the recipe and run it through the soap calculator so you don't get that, you can always do that. But if you're going to use a colorant like titanium dioxide, you may see that with your soap a little bit more. So this is the final cut though. I just wanted to show you guys how it looks, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up because that does help my channel, and I'll keep putting out content. Like I said, I always do melt and pour and cold process soaps. If you guys do both, just let me know what you're interested in, because I'm not sure what you guys like better at this point. It seems like I get a good feedback for both type of tutorials, but I always like more feedback from you guys. So this is the final cut of the Dos Equis, and as you guys can see, there is a little bit of the glycerin reverse showing up in this one, where the color is lighter for the mica, and then you can also see how it did go through gel phase, which it has like a darker circle inside the soap. If you're not familiar with that, it just basically means that the soap did heat up and go through additional process. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a cosmetic issue. Some people like this, some people don't. It kind of shows that the colors of the micas will come out a little bit different. So you can kind of see that a little bit in the red and in the green. Again, it's just a cosmetic issue. It doesn't have any effect on the final outcome of the soap itself.